What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Broadway Joel, the voice of Dominican Box, and today I will be interviewing Frency Fortunato. He is, I believe his record is 15-1. He just recently fought last week on a showbox where he beat an undefeated fighter named Bernard Torres. So, cool story about me and Fortunato is we met at the Dominican card August 20th, where Alberto Pollo became champion as well as Hector Luis Garcia became champion. So he was having a conversation with Elvis Rodriguez, and Elvis was like, "Hey man, this guy's a journalist. He does interviews. You need to get with this guy, man. Have this guy give you an interview." And he came up to me. He goes, "Yo, bro, like give me an interview, this, that, and the third. I'm interested." And he showed me his phone. He goes, "Look, I have a fight on Showtime coming up against an undefeated fighter." And I told him, how about you win the fight and I'll interview you. And to his credit, he won his fight. And he's actually joining us right now. He is here. Eh, we have Frency. Frency, ¿cómo está, mi hermano?
Bien, bien, buenos días a todos.
Buenos días, buenos días. Primeramente quería explicarte cómo va la entrevista. Yo te voy a hacer la pregunta en inglés, después en español.
Okay.
Y me responde claro en español y yo voy a traducir lo que usted dice. Okay. So I want to start from the beginning. So I believe you're from the capital, right? What part of the capital specifically you're from? Usted es de la capital, ¿verdad? Allá en Santo Domingo.
Sí.
¿De qué parte específicamente tú eres?
Villa Duarte.
Villa Duarte. If I'm not mistaken, he says he's from Villa Duarte, that specific town in Santo Domingo. I interviewed Eric Mini Pac-Man Rosa, and he told me that's where he's from, and that there's a lot of boxes coming out of there. That that whole town basically is full of boxes. I want to know what's your perspective as far as that. Yo le hice una entrevista a Eric Mini Pac-Man Rosa, y él me dijo a mí que ese vecindario está lleno de boxeadores. Quería ver, tú sabes, tu opinión de eso, que se mueve allá en Villa Duarte.
Sí, de ahí han salido muchos boxeadores buenos como Ángel Beltré, Italo Cruz, muchas personas así, sucesivamente, ¿entiendes? De ahí del Club Maquiteria hemos salido toditos.
All right. He says that from there, a lot of boxes has came out. I believe he said Alex Beltray, and I forget the other name, but he says a few boxes have come out of that specific neighborhood. So in that neighborhood, you can't just go over there and just fight with anybody. You gotta go there and be on good behavior because everybody can fight, I imagine. So entonces en Villa Duarte tú no puedes entrar de que tú eres tigre, peleas con cualquiera, que de una vez tú sales con tu cocotazo.
No, muchachos, hay muchísimos boxeadores, jóvenes, viejos, niños.
He goes, nah, you can't go in that neighborhood acting tough because he goes, everybody's in boxes. The young kids, the old guys, the teenagers, everybody can fight. All right, so you're coming off your win last Friday against Bernard Torres. Honestly, I like what you did in the beginning of the fight. And this is something I call the Dominican curse. So the Dominican curse kicked in and you kind of got tired at the end. What happened? Were you hurt to the body or were you not trained right? Did something happen in training? What happened towards the later rounds that you got tired? Tú acabas de pelear este viernes pasado y yo vi que tu pelea bien. Tú sabes, en los primeros 5 o 6 rounds, después como que te cansaste. Eso yo llamo la maldición dominicana, que siempre empezamos bien y después como que lo cansamos. Entonces quería saber si algo pasó, te dio un golpe abajo duro o algo pasó en el entrenamiento que no podía terminarlo, tú sabes, como sin estar tan cansado. ¿Qué pasó en los últimos 3 o 4 asaltos?
Estábamos bien preparados, no tenía excusa, ¿entiendes? El condicionista mío, el nutricionista me dijo que yo me cansé en esos ratos porque comí demasiado dulce. Y después que yo vengo de una nutrición de 2 meses bastante y una preparación bastante bien y fuerte, y entonces come dulce antes de la pelea, eso me mató, él me dijo.
¿Y cuándo fue que tú comiste dulce?
yo comí dulce después que yo me empecé, me comí una sopa, después comencé a comer mucho dulce, porque tenía como 2 meses que no comía nada de la calle, de ningún lado, además era de lo que me hacía el nutricionista, ya más comiendo, ¿entiendes? Y tenía ansiedad de comer de todo lo que comí.
So he says that his nutritionist and conditioning coach told him that the reason he got tired those later rounds was because he ate sweets. So I asked him a follow-up question. I was like, when did you start eating sweets? Like, he said that he has no excuses. He was ready. He said he prepared himself hard for 2 months, ate good, trained well. But after the weigh-in, he had a nice big bowl of soup. And then after that, he started eating some sweets and some candy and stuff like that. And he was like, listen, he went through a hard training camp. He had already made weight. He was like, I ain't eat nothing from the street. I ate healthy. I did everything. So he goes, after that, I decided, just to enjoy myself after the weigh-in. But that's the reason why he got tired after the fight. In your lone loss that you have in Argentina, you look really, really good in the early rounds. Dropped the guy 4 times. And then again, the same thing happened. You kind of got tired towards the end of the fight. And I even, you got dropped 3 times, if I'm not mistaken. And you ended up losing the decision. I thought that fight easily could have been a draw, or maybe you could have won it, but it was a close fight. What happened in that fight towards the later rounds? Did the same thing happen? Did the sweets kick in? En tu pelea en la que tú tienes una derrota. En esa derrota, yo vi como casi igual. Tú empezaste bien, que lo tiraste 4 veces. Estaba de lo más bien, boceaste bien, pero después otra vez como que te cansaste. Y te tumbaron 3 veces a ti y perdiste la pelea. Aunque yo vi la pelea como muy cerrada. Podía para mí ser empate o parejo para usted.
No, la pelea yo la gané, pero como estamos en su país, pueblo, ¿entiendes? Ahí fue que sucedió que comencé desde el primer round hasta el sexto, tirando los golpes demasiado duros, con potencia y fallar, y con todo tu fallas, sabes que te va a cansar. Por esa pelea yo no la veo como una perdida, yo la veo como un aprendizaje. Porque de esa pelea aprendí demasiado y tengo eso en la mente todavía. Eso no se me sale de la mente, esa pelea.
All right, so he says that that fight, he don't look at it as a loss. He goes that the only reason he didn't get the decision is because he was fighting in the other guy's country. He goes, and the reason he got tired in that fight is that he came out, throwing really hard punches the first 6 rounds, and he goes, and even when he wasn't landing, he was missing, but he was throwing hard punches, and when you throw and you miss, you get even more tired. So he goes, he looks at it that way. But even with all that said, he still felt he won the fight, and he thinks he didn't get the decision because he was fighting in the other guy's country. So this last win was a big win. It was on Showtime. If I'm not mistaken, it's your first time on Showtime. What has that done for your career? What has your promoters and managers have told you? What are the next steps moving forward? Esta última pelea que tú tuviste fue en Showtime, que yo sepa es la primera vez que tú peleas en Showtime.
Sí.
¿Cómo es que tu promotor y tu manejadores, ¿qué te han dicho a ti después de esa ganada? ¿Qué viene próximo para usted? ¿Qué se mueve?
No, ellos me dijeron, antes de pelear, si ganamos esta te abre la puerta para todo, para tu bien, y yo practiqué bastante fuerte para esta pelea, porque esta pelea viene desde febrero, y ahora fue que sucedió porque se ha estado cayendo y proponiendo la pelea, y ahora fue que se dio de verdad, porque esta pelea me la ofrecieron para febrero.
Okay. ¿Y por qué se estaban cayendo la pelea?
No te sé decir, porque la pelea era febrero 18. Venimos al campamento, se cayó, después pusieron la pelea para mayo, otra vez, después julio 9, y se cayó por la de Fortuna, porque Fortuna iba a pelear julio 16, yo creo, sí, con Ryan García. Y después puse otra fecha, ahora septiembre 9, ahí sí ya fue ya de verdad. Y tenemos desde febrero preparándonos para esta pelea, preparándonos.
Okay.
Y fui fuerte, bastante fuerte, y el oponente era bastante bueno, no tenía mucha pegada, pero era bastante rápido y bastante inteligente.
All right. So he says that that they've been trying to make this fight since February. So first he got a date for February 18th, then another date in May. Then he was going to fight on July 16th on the Javier Fortuna card. And then eventually they told him, no, September. Finally, you have a set date. That's the day it's going to happen. So it was a lot of things that were happening. I asked him why. He said, why was all these rescheduling? He says he doesn't know. It's just they just kept changing the date on him. But he said that he'd been working real hard for this fight, that he'd been preparing for it in February, that he fought a good fighter in Torres. Torres, although he's not a big puncher, he is somebody who's really fast and has a lot has high boxing IQ. And he says that he was ready, and that's why he got the win. Quería preguntarte, I wanted to ask you, so on your Instagram, I saw you sparred Isaac Dogbay, Javante Tank Davis, George Kambosos. Can you tell me how those sparring sessions went? Yo vi en tu Instagram que tú has hecho sparring con George Kambosos, con Isaac Dogbay, con Javante Tank Davis.
Con todo el mundo ha hecho sparring.
He says he sparred with everybody. Can you tell me how the sparring went with you and Tank? ¿Me puedes decir cómo fue el sparring con tú y Javonta?
Ese hombre tiene dos mandares en la mano.
He says that Tank has two hammers in his fists. Y los sparring con Kambosos. What about the sparring with Kambosos?
Sí, con Kambosos hacía mucho sparring, 10 rounds, 8 rounds. Es bastante bueno el australiano.
He says that he did a lot of sparring rounds with George Kambosos. Sometimes it would go 10 rounds, sometimes it would go 8 rounds. That he's a very good fighter. George Kambosos is.
Hecho party con Pitufo Díaz, con Doboy, con Gamboa, con Mike Plania, con Gamboso, Yerbota, con el campeón mundial que era japonés, que está ahí ande Pedro Díaz.
Y Oka.
Y con ese hice sparring también con el de Ghana, que peleó con Daniel García.
¿Cuál es?
El de Ghana es el africano.
Isaac Dogbay.
Ajá, hecho sparring con Doboy también. Hecho sparring con un sinnúmero de bolsadores, con todos los bolsadores que sean de 40 para abajo, yo hago sparring.
He said he sparred pretty much everybody from 140 down, like whether it be Mike Plania, Gamboa, Isaac Dogbay, Kambosos, Tank. He mentioned a few other names that slipped my mind, but he says he's pretty much sparred everybody. What about the Dominicans? Have you sparred any Dominicans we would know about, or have you fought any of the Dominicans in the amateurs that that are now popular? Y con los dominicanos, ¿tú has hecho sparring a algunos de los dominicanos que están arriba? Y también, si en los amateurs, ¿tú has peleado con alguno de ellos?
Hice sparring con Michelle Rivera, la salsa, que está aquí también, anda en Miami. Hice sparring con el que iba a pelear con el que peleó con Héctor Luis, con
Roger Gutiérrez.
Con el otro que yo
Colbert.
Con Colbert, hice sparring con Colbert, cuando iba a pelear con Héctor Luis también.
Okay. No, pues tú estabas con el enemigo ahí.
No, pero después yo estaba aguanteando con él porque él iba a pelear con el venezolano, pero después a última hora le cambian el oponente.
Okay.
Pero podía aguantar con él porque después después que le cambian el oponente, no aguanté con él ya porque yo era el sparring de él.
Sí. Nah.
Yo he hecho sparring con Michelle Rivera.
No, pero tú peleas con alguno de los dominicanos allá en los amateurs.
En amateur la pelea con Nagüita, con Luis Luñez.
Okay. He says out of the Dominicans he sparred Michelle Rivera And as far as in the amateurs, the only Dominican that we would know is Luis Reynaldo Nunez. That's the only Dominican that he's fought that's currently right now as a professional. Uh, what do you make of this recent rise of Dominican boxing? Right now, we got 2 world champions. We got a bunch of prospects coming up, guys who are in the top 10. And we've never seen this coming out of the country. What's your opinion? What's happening in the Dominican Republic that's changed the trajectory of the sport in the country? ¿Qué tú crees de lo últimamente que nosotros los dominicanos como que estamos subiendo mucho? Tenemos 2 campeones mundiales en Puello y García y tenemos muchos ya rankeados en el número 10, tú sabes, y subiendo. Esto es algo que nunca se ha visto en el país. ¿Qué fue que cambió en República Dominicana que ahora que los dominicanos están subiendo?
No, los bolseadores, los manejadores están invirtiendo, los bolseadores dominicanos, porque sabe que en Dominicana no nos preparamos bien, sabe que en Dominicana uno quiere echar un jalado y se le da, tú sabes, con la mujer, no come bien, no solo mismo entrenamiento. Entonces los dominicanos, los que están aquí en Estados Unidos, están dando sorpresa, lo están llevando como hembra y no se están haciendo su trabajo. Por eso mismo, porque los manejadores están invirtiendo y lo están llevando al extranjero a hacer su preparación.
He says that the reason the Dominican boxing is rising is because honestly the Dominican managers are now investing in the sport. Well, before they used to leave us in DR to train, and a lot of times, you're out there, you get distracted by the women, you get distracted by the food, and you don't train as well. He goes, now they have us here training in America, and as you've seen, they've taken us a lot to fight underdogs, and we've been getting these upsets. So honestly, the biggest difference that's been happening is people are now investing in the Dominican talent in as far as the managers. Who's your manager? ¿Quién es el manager de usted?
Pen Bossy.
Oh, okay. They were with you since the beginning. Ellos están contigo desde el principio.
Claro, desde que yo pasé profesional, ellos me agarran.
Yeah. So he says that he's with Pain Boxing. That's who manages him, and that that they've been with him since the beginning. As soon as he turned pro, that's who's been backing him. So what? How fast do you want to move forward into being a world titleist? Right now, you're not ranked in none of the sanctioned bodies. Last I checked. How quickly do you want to move through the ranks? Yo chequeé los rankings de toda la organización, ¿no? Usted no está rankeado, pero ¿qué tanto rápido tú quieres moverte para llegar a pelear por un título mundial?
No, cualquier rato que me dé la oportunidad, yo la aprovechamos.
He says, and he goes, as soon as he gets the opportunity, he's going to take it as far as fighting for a title. So that's the way he looks at it. What is your best attribute as a boxer? What is it? Your jab? Is it your speed? Is it your power? What is your best attribute? What is it you do best out of your skill set? ¿Qué es lo que usted hace mejor en tu estilo de boxeo? Sea tu poder, tu rapidez, tu jab, tu uppercut. ¿Qué es tu mejor tú sabes, estrategia cuando tú estás en el ring?
Yo subo a voltear el bolsador, pero si la esquina me mandó que tengo que atacar y no les hablo entrar, entonces yo me considero mejor bolseador, pero mucha gente me dice que yo pego, ¿entiendes? Y yo me ha creído que sí, porque con toda la pelea que yo he hecho, yo tumbo siempre al oponente.
He says what he does best is he boxes. He says he's a boxer, although he's been told he's a puncher, and he's lately starting to believe it because he's been dropping guys, and he goes pretty much almost every fight he drops a guy, so he's starting to believe that he actually is a puncher. I actually want to get a little bit into your story now that we got kind of what's next, and we got all of that out the way. I wanted to ask you, how did you get into the sport of boxing? Because boxing, as you know, is not the most popular sport in the Dominican Republic. It's baseball. But how did you get into the sport and why? Usted sabe que en la República Dominicana el deporte que manda es el béisbol, pero entonces quería saber por qué usted eligió el boxeo y sí, ¿por qué fue que elegiste el boxeo?
Yo era pelotero primero, yo jugaba béisbol primero.
Okay.
Pero como mi abuelo es bolseador toda la vida, el gallito fría, él me llevaba a todas las peleas profesionales y a los gimnasios. Entonces yo decidí meterme a bolseador porque yo no salía de un gimnasio.
¿Cuánta edad tú tenías?
¿Qué edad tenía yo?
Sí, cuando empezaste a boxear.
Como 10 años.
He says that he originally started playing baseball, but his grandfather was a boxer, and that his grandfather would take him to all the fights, take him to the gyms, and he just kind of just fell in love with the sport and decided to box. Then I asked him, like, how old were you when you first started? He said he was 10 years old. So how soon until after training did you have your first fight, and did you win it? How was it? Do you remember it? ¿Qué tanto duraste entrenando hasta tu primer pelea en amateur? ¿Perdiste, ganaste? ¿Cómo fue también?
No, mi primera pelea amateur, yo participé en un torneo que hizo la provincia en Domingo, que le hicieron torneo de novato, que ahí es donde van todos los que están subiendo, y ahí me coroné campeón del torneo de novato. Después fui al torneo nacional infantil. Después me jalaron para la selección nacional. Ahí participé en varios torneos fuera del país. Fui también al torneo militar. Fui también policía de allá de Dominicana.
Oh, okay. So he says that his first fight it was in a rookie tournament that they put him in. He ended up winning it. That he ended up going into the junior national team. He ended up becoming representing the Dominican Republic in the national team. He says he went to tournaments internationally, and he even boxed for the military. Ended up becoming a cop in the Dominican Republic. So what's harder, boxing in the ring or becoming a cop and arresting criminals? ¿Qué es más difícil? ¿Ser un boxeador en el ring o arrestar criminal en la calle como policía?
No, porque yo no era policía así de servicio.
Oh, entonces, ¿cómo tú eras policía?
Como bolchador, el de la que tú sabes que participa en las 4 instituciones en Dominicana, en bolcheo.
Pero ¿cómo eso funciona? Entonces, tú eres policía, pero no puedes arrestar gente.
No, yo era el policía, Luis García era policía, Elvin Rodríguez era policía. Starling Castillo era policía, la Vipa Puello era marino.
Caballo, no, pero digo yo, tú eres policía, ¿cuáles son tus responsabilidades?
No, porque eso es para participar en los juegos militares.
Oh, ok.
Años.
Okay.
Cada institución engancha a los mejores del país, ¿me entiendes?
Okay. So, all right. So he was saying that he was a cop, but not a cop like a cop in the street arresting people. He says that in order to I guess be part of the national team, you have to serve in the military. So he was like a military cop. But I asked him what was his responsibilities, and he just kind of made it seem like it's like he was a cop in name only. But he says that Elvis Rodriguez was a cop. Hector Luis Garcia was a cop as well. Alberto Puello was a Marine. So I'm not sure exactly how it works, but in order to be part of the national team, you also have to be part of the military out there, which is interesting. Entonces, so the only way to be part of the Dominican national team is to also be part of the military. Entonces, la única manera de ser parte del equipo nacional es también ser militar.
No, de ahí cuando eres del equipo nacional, ahí estaban mirando los jefes de varias instituciones y si tú le gustaste, ellos te ofrecen para que tú seas parte de la institución y ahí, ¿me entiendes?
Y te dan tu cuarto, te dan tu chelito.
Sí, te pagan mensual, te dan un sueldo mensual.
Okay.
Y también la federación de allá te paga mensual, también la selección allá.
Okay. All right. So what he's saying is that when you join the national team, what happened is you these organizations, whether it be the police or the Marines or anything like that, they're watching you, and they'll make you an offer if they see your discipline. And he goes that, you'll get a monthly check if you agree to be one of those military divisions, as well as you also get another check for just being part of the Dominican national team, which is interesting. So you were getting paid even as an amateur. So a ti te están pagando hasta como amateur también.
No, ya no, ya no. Ya cuando tú
No,
decides saltar,
no. Cuando tú estabas en el nacional, te están pagando el equipo nacional, usted
sí,
dice.
cuando yo la maté me pagaba la policía y
Sí. ¿Cuánto te pagaban?
Cuando eso yo estaba ahí me pagaba 6,000 pesos la policía.
Y la nacional, ¿cuánto te pagaban?
3,000 pesos.
Entonces, 9,000 mensual, entonces.
9,000 mensual.
Okay, so he says at that time he was getting 6,000. So I asked him how much did he get paid. He says that the police were paying him 6,000 Dominican pesos monthly, and that the national team was paying him 3,000 Dominican pesos a month. So he was making a total of 9,000 a month. Hold on, I want to get to how much that is. Espera, quiero ver cuánto es eso en dólares para explicarle a los.
En dólares son 6,000 pesos, 9,000 pesos son como $180, $190.
Estoy viendo aquí $168 mensual.
Sí.
Okay, so basically that's $168 monthly as of right now. He was getting paid just to be part of the national team and be part of the cops. So you good out there with the cops. If the cops don't bother you because you're a former cop yourself. Entonces tú estás frío allá con la policía porque tú eres policía también.
Algunos me conocen, pero como quiera yo nunca caigo preso porque ellos me dicen que cuando me paran o algo me dicen, no, dicen que no representa el país esto y cosas, y me dejan tranquilo, me dicen, no ande tal hasta la noche o esto, me dicen y me voy.
He says not that he never been to jail, but he says that most of the cops, they know him, and the ones who don't, he'll explain who he is, and they'll be like, "Oh no, yeah, you be representing the country, yeah, just stay out of trouble, stay out of this neighborhood, don't go out at this time, don't do this, don't do that," and they leave him alone. That he's good out there. So from what I understand, you live in Florida. How long have you been living out there, and how do you like it out there? As far as I know, it's a bit different from the Dominican Republic. Lo que yo tengo entendido es que tú estás viviendo en la Florida. ¿Cómo te gusta ahí y cuánto tiempo tienes viviendo ahí?
No, ya aquí tengo ya aproximadamente 4 años desde que me salió la visa. Me trajeron para acá, para este campamento, donde Chiro Bosch, donde Chiro Pérez, que ha sido todo para mí, mi entrenador, mi papá. Me ha dado un trato que no me imaginaba. Y estamos aquí en este campamento, ¿entiendes? Aquí han venido todos los dominicanos a este campamento, han pasado por aquí todito, como Banara Rosario, Caballo Bronco, Héctor Luis García, Mangú Valera, todito han pasado por aquí.
He says that he's been living in Florida for 4 years, and that his trainer Chito Perez has been treating him like a son. That he looks at him like a father. He's been doing great by him, and that he's been out there. He likes it. He goes that through his training camp, everybody has passed through, whether it be Felix Valera, Carlos Adames, Hector Luis Garcia. He goes that almost all the Dominicans have passed by there to train with him. So he says he loves it out there. What fighters in your division are you looking at? Like, oh, I want him. I don't. There's something about him. I want to face him in the future. Or is there a fighter like that? ¿Qué peleador en tu división ahora tú miras y tú le dices como que ese en un futuro yo lo quiero ver en el ring contra mí? Tú tienes uno como que la tiene en la mira.
No, yo quiero pelear con todos los que están en mis visiones, con todos. Yo lo que tienen que mandar el contrato y ya, y nosotros estamos abiertos con todos mis pesos.
All right. He says that honestly he doesn't have like a specific fighter. He goes that he's ready for any of the top fighters. Just all they got to do is send him a contract and he's ready to go. All right. So any interesting stories that you have from back in Dominican Republic as far as whether it be a street fight or amateur fight that went a certain way? Do you have any interesting stories? Usted tiene como una historia como interesante de algo que pasó en la República Dominicana, sea una pelea en la calle o una pelea Mateo, que algo pasó, tú sabes, intenso. Usted tiene como una historia que me puede contar a nuestra audiencia.
En amateur, en unos juegos escolares, yo bajaba de peso demasiado, ya yo no podía hacer ese peso. Yo fui en 50 kilos y no podía hacer ese peso y ya estaba cansado. Yo dije, yo voy a perder el pesaje porque yo no aguanto más ese peso. Estaba muy grande y fuerte. Entonces, el cubano de la selección, Armando Hernández, me dijo, si pierde el pesaje, no entra a la selección nunca más. Y yo tenía que levantarme temprano todos los días a 6 de la mañana para correr, para bajar el peso y acostarme sin cenar.
Wow.
Ok. Cada vez que tú peleas, cada vez que tú vas a pelear, tienes que pesarte. Yo me pesaba, comía bastante, ganaba y era bajándome del ring, poniéndome un abrigo, un sauna y a correr, ha dicho, para poder bajar el peso. Después en la mañana otra vez, después cuando yo ya iba por la medalla de oro, que me pesé, comí demasiado que ya no aguantaba, que me dio una perpejía en el hotel.
Ay, ¿qué es eso? Una perpejía, ¿qué es eso?
Una perpejía es cuando tú comes demasiado, que te sube la comida y te hay que llevarte para el médico y no puedes respirar.
Ah, entonces perdiste la pelea así.
No, eso fue la mañana, eso fue la suerte, y la pelea eran a las 4 de la tarde. Me dio una perpejía, muchacho. Yo estaba comiendo en todos lados y me acosté.
Pero, ¿y llegaste a hacer la pelea?
Sí, la suerte que gané por nocaut el primero. Esa ha sido mi peor experiencia del boxeo.
So he says that when he was in the Dominican national team, he goes that he was having really trouble making a specific weight. I believe he said 50 kilos or something like that, or 15. I forget. And he says that he was getting to the point where he's like, listen, I just can't get down to the weight. Like I'm just gonna blow the weight. And that his the Olympic coach Armando Hernandez, who I actually interviewed before, he said he told them, listen, you miss this weight, you'll never be on this national team ever again. So he said that, you know, in the amateurs, he was in a tournament. In the amateurs, every single time you have to make weight. Like if you have a fight today, you have to make weight, and then the next day, so the same thing. So he says that he would wake up early, running, sweating, and stuff like that, and then he would go make his weight, eat something, then go fight, and then as soon as getting off the ring, he would be putting on a sauna suit to run off the food that he ate right after the weigh-in and stuff like that to make weight the next day. So he said that he was doing this every single day, and then once it got to the gold medal match, he said that he caught I don't know how to translate specifically, but he said basically caught a really bad stomach ache, and his stomach was really hurting. He was throwing up. He goes that you know, te llevaron al hospital.
No, me dije que no, porque si se dan cuenta podían perder y me iban a botar de la selección.
All right, so he says that they should have sent him to the hospital, but he said he didn't because he didn't say anything, because if they would have noticed, they wouldn't have let him fight. And this was the gold medal match. So he said that, you know, he wanted to like suck it up or whatever. So he said this was in the morning and the fight was in the afternoon. So by the afternoon, he was already feeling better. He made the weight, and he said that that lucky for him, he won by first round knockout. What tournament was this? ¿Qué torneo era este?
Ese era el torneo de los Juegos Escolares, que lo hicieron en la Romana. Lo hicieron en Playa Nueva, en Playa Nueva Romana. Tú sabes que ese hotel, la comida,
Riquísima. So he said that it was like a youth tournament, and it was held in a specific hotel in La Romana in the Dominican Republic. And he was like, man, that the food there was amazing. So, you know, you can only imagine you trying to make weight, and you're staying at a hotel where the food's really good. Bueno, Frency, quiero darte muchas gracias. Me disfruté mucho con ustedes. Ojalá podemos hacerlo otra vez.
Gracias. No, estamos aquí a cualquier cosa.
Sí, sí. Quiere decir tus redes o cualquier cosa, la gente que te quieren seguir, le quiere mencionar un saludo a tu familia, lo que sea.
Sí, le doy gracias a mi compañía, Ben Bossing, a mi maestro Chiro, por darme la oportunidad y confiar en mí. Y seguimos aquí adelante, gracias a mi familia también. Mis redes sociales son en Instagram, Facebook, Frency Jodón, ya ustedes saben.
Okay. So he said he wants to give a shout out to his trainer, Cheeto Perez, as well as his management group, Pain Boxing, and that you guys can follow him on Instagram at Frenzy El Jodón. Oh, última pregunta. Last question. Why do you call you El Jodón? ¿Por qué te dicen El Jodón?
Yo atravieso.
So Jodón in Spanish is like basically like a guy who's like always bothering somebody. And I asked him why that's his nickname. He was like, man, when he was a kid, he was always like, doing bad stuff, and that's why they gave him that nickname. No, pero Frenzy, lo vamos a tener que hacer otra vez, quizás después de tu próxima pelea o cuando tú tengas una pelea seteada para promocionarla, yo te tiro aquí otra vez. Pero
Okay.
muchas gracias por estar en el programa.
Gracias a ti. Cualquier cosa te dejo saber.
Tato. Muchas gracias, hermano. All right, guys. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Until next time, guys. Peace.